Good afternoon. It's Sue from Snake River Stamping. Welcome into my craft room today. I hope that you have everything under control for New Year's. I know we've had a lot of fireworks in our neighborhood, and we're taking care of my daughter's dog while she's in Arizona visiting friends, and it's freaking him out a little bit. He's just a puppy, and he's really frightened of the fireworks, so I hope tonight's not too much for him. We'll try to, sit with him and protect him from it. But, it's really hard on animals, all the fireworks and the celebrations. I'm really glad you're here today. I would like to remind you that my email address is on this page. If you would like to email me, and I'll show you my desktop in a minute. It has my phone number and stuff. If you would like to text me or call me about anything. I have linked all the products below this video, and they will take you directly to my store if you would like to purchase anything, if you like anything. And I'm going to talk to you about the stamps that I'm using today, which is on sale. And you can get it for a really great price. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow my channel, and the more subscribers, the more likes I have, the YouTube algorithms will share it to a wider audience, which is what I'm trying to do. So subscribe, like, and share if you can. I would really appreciate all of that. Okay, I'm going to switch to my desktop. There we go. This is my December host code, which is good through the end of today at midnight today, and then tomorrow I'll have a new one for January. So if you would please use that host code, that helps me know that you've shopped with me and that you have qualified. I have a special this month since it's December. You get my my free gift for only a $30 order, and it's this beautiful sheer ribbon with silver edges, and I use this ribbon all the time. In fact, I'm gonna show you an example of how to use it on this card today if you would like. And it's just very versatile, and it came out at Christmas last year, but it's not just for Christmas. It's useful for just about anything. So today we're going to make a birthday card. We're leaving Christmas behind, and we're going to move on to some all occasion cards in the next few weeks. And I've got a few things planned for you. So today we're doing a birthday card, and we're using a stamp set that happens to be on sale right now. This is called Blueberry Bunches, and it's just a stamp set. It's usually $23. I've got one stamp over here on a block. But it's on sale right now for $9.20. So that's over 50% off. So it's a great sale. And if you can click the link. It's under Stamps and Bundles below. But if you just go to my online shopping store and look at the menu, and go to the specials tab, pull that down, and it's called Last Chance Products, and they have a lot of things on sale, and you can really score some great deals right now as they are transitioning into a new catalog for January. And January 7th, we're going to have a new catalog. Let me see, I think I have that. Yep. So I've sent, if you're one of my regular customers, I've already sent you this catalog, and we can start sharing it. Even though we can share the things that are products that are in it, we can't open the catalog until January 7th itself. So I will be sharing some things before January 7th that are in that catalog. In fact, some of those things are free because we're also doing Celebration in January and February, where you get absolutely free products for every $60 that you spend. Plus you'll get free things from me too. So back to today, we're going to use this stamp set. And the simplest kind of cards to make are called SIP cards, S-I-P, stamps, ink, and paper. And basically that's what this card is today, stamps, ink, and paper. I have added a few other things if you want. I mean, you can always dress up a card in any way you want, but if you have some stamps, some ink, and some paper, you can make some pretty nice things. And when they're on sale, that's a great opportunity to do that. I would like to just, before we start our card today, just remind you about last week's video. And this is one of the newer products in the online exclusives called Utterly Amazing. And we did this little otter card last week that's so cute. And if you didn't see that, you can go back and catch the replay and watch how we did that. And you can order these products right now for Utterly Amazing. And all of those things are linked also below that video so that you can easily find them. So today I had to change up a little bit on this card because I used scallop contours to cut this front piece, and I was sure they still had scallop contours, but they don't. They're sold out of that, and they're not bringing it back, I guess, which I'm really sad about because this was just a wonderful die set. It was so, I just love it. It makes a card really interesting. But we're going to use a different one that is available right now in the online store, and I have that linked below. It is called Perennial Postage, and this is still available. And we're going to use these little dies to do the front of our card today. So you can either screenshot when I put these things up. Oh yes, here's my phone number. If you need to call me or ask me questions, or you have anything that you would like to know, you can call me at this number. It's my cell phone, so you can text me or call. So you start out with a card base, and for some reason I have two. I don't know. It's just cutting, I guess. You have a card base in Blueberry Bushel, and it's 8.5 by 5.5. And you score it a little differently. You score it at 3 inches, and then you flip it, and you score it at 1.25 inches over here. Okay. That's the easiest way to do it, is to score it at 3, flip it, and then score it at 1.25 inches. Okay. So that's your first piece. And I'll show you on this one since I don't have anything written on this one. So I've already, this is the 1.25, and this is the 3, and you'll see that they meet, but not in the middle. They meet off to the right, which is what we want for this card. We want it to go off to the right because we're going to put a little door type of thing on the, it's called a fancy fold, on the top of it. Okay, so that's how you do that part. So then in the outside, you need a piece of white that's 3.5 inches by 4.75 inches. And I wrote scallop contours on here because that's what I used, but we're not using scallop contours today. We are using perennial postage. Let me mark that out. We're going to use perennial postage. Okay, on this one. And then, and this is a paper that I've shared before, that I used this paper. This was a Christmas paper a year ago, And it is so useful. This whole pack of paper is so useful for all year long. It's called Winter Meadow Designer Series paper. And I just love the blues and greens in it. And for the front, we need a piece of Winter Meadow. And I think I've mentioned before that I always pick my Designer Series paper first, so then I can pick my cardstock that will match it. Okay. And this is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then you need a long skinny piece for that edge. Again, of Winter Meadow. You can cut it right off the same piece. 5 1/4 by 1. And it's going to go like this. Okay. Maybe I should change my sticky. It's going to go like that. Okay. Then the inside, you want to cut a piece, another piece of white, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. You can use stitched rectangles. The happy birthday is going to come from the set for the front from So Sincere, because I want this long, skinny happy birthday to go on the front of my card like this. I like that one. And that's where I got it, was from So Sincere, and I have that product linked for you also. Okay. But you're going to need a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece for the inside. Now you're going to stamp on these before you cut them. Okay. And I'm going to, of course, I dropped my envelope here. Excuse me. So this is what, got the dropsies today. This is what it looks like when it's cut out of perennial postage. This is the kind of shape you get. And if you don't have outline dies like this, that's okay. Just cut your paper. You might want to cut it just a little bit smaller. I cut this big enough so that I could put a die on it when I gave you the outside measure and the inside measure for the pieces. So you might want to do, if you don't have outside dies to use, you might take a 1/4 inch off each of that. So 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 to make it just a little bit smaller. Okay. So that's going to be for the inside. So what you want to do is actually do your stamping before you do your die cutting. Okay, so I stamped this one, which was my original size, that I told you, the 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. I stamped it. This is my outside. And then I used my perennial postage die, and I used the second largest one for the outside. And because if you cut and then stamp, you're going to have some bumpy edges and your stamp won't stamp evenly. So you want to stamp first and then cut it. Okay. So if I stamp first and then I cut it, I can go off the edges and I can get a nice smooth cut, even though I went off the edges, and it won't ruin the stamped image part. And I stamped my happy birthday. I stamped these by hand, and I'm going to stamp one by hand for you in just a minute. I stamped the images by hand, but I did stamp my words happy birthday using my Misty, because I always get with words, sentiments, I get a better image when I do that. So I did that. And I did the same thing for the inside of my card. I have my 4 by 5 1/4, and I stamped and I used my blueberry bunches. I just went back to this one because they had sending you bunches of birthday wishes. So I stamped that one on the inside, and then I cut it, and it looks like this. But before I cut it, I'm going to stamp the edge of my and it's not hard to, as hard to stamp an image as it is to stamp words. So I just use one of my little silicone mats, and I use Blueberry Bushel ink on all of this, and that's also linked below what I used. And I just tap 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 for a few times on this, and I just want part of this because I am going to cut it, and put firm even pressure, and it gets some on my silicone, but that's okay because the silicone mat, everything wipes up just super easy. I just take my microfiber cloth and I just wipe that right off. Okay, so then I get my larger die from Perennial Postage, and it's going to cut off some of those blueberries, but that's okay. And I'm going to cut that, and that's where I got this one after I cut it on my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so that's how I did that. So now all I have to do is, don't forget to clean off your stamps so that the next time you stamp a different color, you don't get colors cross-contaminating. And I used a 3-inch block for this one. I actually used a 3-inch block for the bigger stamp too, because I wasn't going to stamp the whole thing. So even though the stamp was bigger than 3 inches, I still used a 3-inch block to stamp this one. So now I've got everything stamped and cut out that I want to use. And I'm going to go back to my card, and I'm going to put this ink away because I'm trying not to get it on me. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I usually keep, you don't see it on my desk right now, so I'm going to wipe my hands off with a cloth. I usually have some hand sanitizer because it's got alcohol in it, and I wash my hands or wipe my hands off periodically with that. So now I'm going back to this card that we've scored and folded, and I'm going to start adding first the pretty paper. And I'm just going to use, take off my little measurement. So this is Winter Meadow Designer Series paper, 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal Plus to put this on the front of my card. I'm going to turn it over, and it's got a pretty blue wash on the back, which you can use for something if you just want that kind of a paper. And I always look and I see, does it look like it has an up and a down? This one's kind of not. It's kind of, it can go anyway, but I try to get it evenly placed on there. Okay. And then I'm going to do the skinny piece. And this was 5 1/4 by 1. And it's the same Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to run a tape down there. And center this. And put it on. Okay. Now it's easy to put the inside in next before I work on the outside. So I've already got it all stamped and ready to go. And I've seen online, people, I look on Pinterest and stuff, of course, to get ideas, because personally I'm not that creative. So I steal a lot of ideas. So I've looked at people that have colored the blueberries, and some people do better than others. And they use Stampin' Blends, they use colored pencils, different things. I just think that this particular stamp, because it's partially colored in, you know, with lines and things from the artist that made the stamp, that it looks just fine not colored. I think it looks, in fact, really pretty because it's on a background. It's going to be on a background that is pretty colorful, and so this stands out pretty nicely on that background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some dimensionals. These are just Stampin' Dimensionals, and this is a new package because I can't believe it. I finally ran out of all the little pieces and parts that I had. So I'm going to use some new ones today and just break them open. And I use tweezers because I'm not that good. Now, I want to only place my Stampin' Dimensionals on the left. So if I flip this over to put the dimensionals on, now it's on my right. Just have to be cognizant of that. And I'm going to put like 4 on here. Okay, so I took the little tabs off, the little papers off the top. And before I do that, I'm going to crease this. I haven't done that yet. And so it's popping up, but I am going to fix that problem too, because this card tends to pop open, but I have a way to fix that for you. And so I just make sure that it's not going to be centered exactly because I want it to come over on the other part. I'm going to need to show you how I stick it down over there. But all my dimensionals are over on the left. And so I just rub that down, and now my card flips open like that. So the next thing I use, and I need my envelope, is I buy these little Velcro dots. I think they're 3M. Anyway, you can get them in the sewing section of, like I buy them at Walmart in their craft section. And if you take the dot and place it directly on top of the dot that goes with it, because it has those those loopy things that stick together, and then it has sticky stuff on each side. And I want the dots to match up. So they're together right now. And I've got 2 pieces of sticky. And I want them to stick over here to hold this card closed. So I'm just going to put it on this side because I don't want it to show. Stick that down. And then I'm just going to press this down. And the other side of the sticky will stick down. And so now I can use the loop things, the Velcro, to stick my card closed. So when my recipient gets it, it stays closed. But of course, they'll start to open it and realize there's a Velcro there, and they can open it. They can see, you know, what's inside. Of course, you write a nice message and everything. And this is just makes such an easy. You can use this pattern for using any DSP, even if you don't have this blueberry bunches or this paper, you know, whatever you've got, you can use this, and it always turns out really nice. And I really do like using the Velcro dots to keep a card like this closed. And it still stands up for display if you want to, like that. Or it can lay flat like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today, this tutorial. Like I said, all my products are linked below, and I shared all my measurements with you. And I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and do the little like, the little thumbs up like for me. Let me change my screen back. We can see each other. There we go. And if you do the little thumbs up, that really helps my channel to grow and to get more subscribers, which is what I'm trying to do. And I do appreciate you today. The things that I used, again, my main product was Blueberry Bunches, which is on sale for $9.20. I have that. And then I got this Happy Birthday, the long skinny Happy Birthday over here from So Sincere. And the dies that I used were for perennial postage. And I used Blueberry Bushel ink and Blueberry Bushel cardstock. And I used Winter Meadow, which is one of my all-time favorite. I shouldn't tell you how many packages I have because I don't ever want to run out. Blueberry Bushel or Winter Meadow Designer Series paper, which I just love, and it has lots of different pretty papers in there that are useful all year long for all kinds of cards. And they make really pretty sympathy cards. They have some mint paper in there that make really pretty sympathy cards. So I hope that you will use this pattern. This is just a really easy pattern to use. And then the secret of using the little Velcro dots to seal it shut is just simple. It's flat. It just takes one stamp to put this through the mail. Anything under an ounce, under a quarter of an inch, go through with one stamp. So anyway, thank you for watching today. And next week, I'm working on some products, using some products that are going to be free to you starting January 7th. Because that's when our new catalog and the celebration goes into effect. And I'm going to show you some card sketches and some ways to use some of the free products. So I hope you'll join me next Tuesday. Thank you, and we'll see you again.